All right, hello, hello. Welcome to the very first Wednesday Wisdom series here. I am Ollie Taylor. I'm the founder and CEO of Wisdom and Wayfinder, where we help licensed professional service brands uh, get to a clearer path for growth and profitability. And the whole thing with the Wednesday Wisdom series is that, listen, unless you've discovered the secret to everlasting life or immortality, you don't have enough time in the world to make all the mistakes and learn all the lessons there are about running, growing, and scaling a business. And so I have spent the last 10 to 15 years of my professional life developing relationships with experts and professionals who are at the top in their field in different areas, and being able to bring in those people to address certain problems, situations that come up inside of a business. And I am very fortunate to have one of my favorite new people that I've met recently. She's also my cousin from Krypton. We have a shared love of Superman and Supergirl. But here with me today is Tina Meeks from Scory Services. Tina has a diverse and in-depth knowledge ranging from financial controller to IT data analysis analyst. Sorry. And in this segment, she will be sharing three proven strategies of mastering sustained profitability in various industries in the last 20 years, which allows her to solve problems in weeks that would require small to mid-sized businesses to hire a group of 8 to 11 positions in the same collaboration efforts in 30 days or less. I told you she was Superman or Supergirl before I meant it. And so say hello, Tina.
Oh, hello. Thank you, Ali, for all the kind words. Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure, Ali, as well. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, of course. Well, again, thank you for being here today. And so I'd like you to just share a little bit about how you got started in your business. What's the thought behind Scory? Like, how do you get started, and what inspired you to start this business?
Well, I've always been a problem solver ever since I was 4 years old, learning how to French braid one of my friend's hair. And then I realized I had a knack for technology when I started computers in school at 15 and then started really getting the computers at a job and then programmed my first memory writer typewriter at 18. So I just evolved from there, became a problem solver, and then I ended up in accounting 20 years ago. After building an business system, ERP they call them, and I learned accounting, and then I felt that, ironically, my obsession and addiction to gaining profitability by watching data stream through and back again also was offered with timing, reporting, visibility, fixing those problems, and the profitability was the benefit. So it was very interesting, and I've done it so long now. And every position, I'm always trying to streamline and figure something out and solve a problem, reduce man hours. That's just like my addict. And it's just been interesting. So I figured, well, I've done this so much with other businesses. Imagine how many businesses I can help being a consultant. So here I am.
Mm. Yeah, that's awesome. It's interesting how our paths have sort of aligned in that same way of just wanting to solve problems, and you sort of pick up all these different skills because you see a new problem and you're like, okay, well, let me figure out how to solve that. And you can see the benefit to the other people, and so you just keep adding all these different skills and superpowers, if you will, to be able to help them. So yeah, so tell me a little bit more about why financial services, and why, and particularly for the Wisdom and Wayfinder audience, I focus on licensed professional services. So that's the insurance agencies, the accounting firms, the law firms, chiropractors, therapists, like all of those different types of brands. But why did you get into the accounting part of it, and what is it that you see for businesses in terms of profitability and growth?
Well, the accounting part, the financial part of it as an umbrella, is what is the benefit of what I do. My focus is streamlining processes, fixing processes, whether it's through the system and also day to day processes, because those two components
Yeah.
along with an input, the right employee in the right seat is what's valuable really in profitability. So if you have a system you're using, in some companies, depending on how much bigger they are, they have 2 and 3 systems that are integrating with each other. Well, who's keeping an eye on that integration? What about the enhancements when a code is changed? Someone's got to be knowledgeable to know when that code gets changed, to look at any hiccups, because then you've got bottlenecks going on with data, transactional data, and that's affecting your income and you may not know it. Reports, updating reports, and then your day-to-day processes. So how many people out there have standard operating procedures that they have for their company and keep them updated? So as times change, so does your standard operating procedures, or AKA SOPs. As those change, who's updating them? So you've got turnover, new people coming in. You don't want to keep reinventing the wheel, because if it worked like a well-oiled machine, you want to keep that well-oiled machine going no matter who comes in, and getting the right people in the right positions. The financial part is just the benefit, because I have a lot of knowledge on that part in reference to the profitability, the costing. A lot of your clients, for example, are fee driven, Ali. So fees also need to be looked at. And you got market strategy you want to look at in reference to. I do have clients that are attorneys, property manager, real estate investors. Those are all fee driven companies. So you also want to value your fee schedule. How long has it been since you've updated it? How often do you do a market survey? So there's a lot of other things that are looked at, and it's all part of my systems and processes, and then reducing expenses to maximize your profitability when it's all said and done. So that's really what I love to do. It's more IT level driven, but the benefit is the accounting component of it all.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. And I'm just imagining a business owner listening to this being like, yeah, I need to do all that. I need to do all that. Like everything you said, like they're just checking off a box. But it's like, where should where do they need to get started? Right? Because I can guarantee, if you're asking a business owner or a busy business owner about standard operating procedures or systems and checklists, it's somewhere in they're floating around in their brain, or it's on a napkin somewhere in the bottom of their drawer. Right? They don't have any of this stuff written down. Maybe they hired somebody a while ago and it's buried in some email. But if they were going to try and do this for this year, in 2024, what's like the first thing that you would recommend for them to do?
The first thing, and we need the first thing they want to do is, what I focused on my strategy one is, let's look at how much is hitting your age receivables report. Where's your billing at right now? Is any of your billing manually being done? Are you behind on getting the billing in? And then of course I focus on fee structure or cost accounting, and where you are depending on what industry you're in reference to that. So that's the 3 components you want to look at. So always focus on cash flow first, because then once we get the cash flow coming in, then the rest of it is, then we get into the expenses, then the standard operating procedures, because we've got to get some normal, consistent patterns going in your day-to-day operations, because you do want to focus on the clients and handling the customer service and making sure you're delivering the product. The end stage of that is, hold on, I'm getting some feedback. I apologize. The end
Oh, no,
stage of
no worries.
that is the standard operating procedures, and making sure that you have this consistency going forward. And of course, I'm just not a band-aid effect either. Once I come in and I get the cash flow, then we look at all the expenses, and I have my army with me, as we call the Justice League. I have a bunch of business referral partners, and I will bring them in with their value and their expertise to get you requoted. Look at your policies. Let's look at this. Let's look at this expense. And so we're looking at that to see where our expenses. And then the third strategy is keeping up with you, making sure, looking at your expenses, making sure you're getting tax strategies taken off, because a lot of times at the end of the year they're so exhausted. Every business owner that I've ever met, and look, there's no fault because it's not their cup of tea. Every
Right.
business, I'll get to that next month, that's on my plate for next week, and before you know it, we're at tax season, we're at the end of the year, and now we've got to get everything ready for taxes, and they're so overwhelmed. And the CPA doesn't have time to answer 50 questions that you should have had all year long. So then you get to that part and you're like, just do it. And then all of a sudden, because of that lack of ability to be able to get that done, you are probably paying 4, 5 to 6 times higher in tax to Uncle Sam than you probably should have. So having someone like me come in and literally see it from the very beginning all the way through your processes and back and monitor and keep you healthy and sustainable, you are, I promise you, you will pay much less at the end of the year. And I pretty much, my position would pay you literally 2, 3 times less than what you would have paid to Uncle Sam. So there's great value in that. And then just imagine the holidays, right? Most people are wanting to spend time with their family, but a lot of people in the finance world are dealing with year-end processes. Just imagine all of that going away and your staff being able to just focus on day to day and have that time with their family, and have someone like me coming in and keeping you healthy and sustainable. Basically, that person behind the curtain just keeping you going, and less stress, work life balance, and profitability. Who doesn't want to have more money in their pocket at the end of the day?
Yeah, I don't know anybody who would say no to that. Yeah, I mean, so there were a couple of things that you said there that I really loved, especially with I talk about growth and profitability, right? A clear path to growth and profitability, and I think that there's two ways to get there for growth, right? You can either grow through expansion, which is either increasing your prices, increasing the number of customers that you have, increasing the frequency at which you're selling your products or your services. There's that growth through expansion, and then there's the growth through contraction, which is reducing those expenses, mitigating those risks, or like you said, in terms of, hey, if we get all these processes in place first, and we have, we review whatever you're paying for your insurances or for your different policies, we review your fee structure, we can reduce the amount that you're paying to the silent but ever greedy partner that is Uncle Sam in everybody's business, right? So I really love what you said about those two things there.
Yes, definitely. I mean, Uncle Sam gets enough, right? You need more money in your pocket in order to stay successful and get to your legacy business that you started out, however that was, 2 years, 6 years,
Yeah.
10 years, 20 years, whatever that is.
Yeah. Can you tell me? So, can you share with me, a particular example of someone that you did have that sort of result with, and what, not necessarily in their business, but on the other side of their business, what did they get to do that they weren't able to do before because they were so locked in and trapped by their own success of their business, um, that you were able to help them do that?
Yeah. Well, I have a current client who is in the legal field, and he has been doing it all on his own since he
Mm,
started the company. And how he has done that on his own
yeah,
is,
that's
is
all.
kudos. So I started with him in September, mid September. And again, what I want to stress is small changes make big differences. We started off, we started with the age reporting, making sure the billing was there. We tackled that. Then we were able to bring in an assistant, a legal assistant. I was able to train the legal assistant, get them started, take that off his plate, let him focus on his legal side. Then once we got that, we were able to do some automation, get some things automated, and have that ability to do that while I continued to work on the collections and billing and kind of get customized with his customers. And then as of Monday, we now brought in a second legal assistant. So it's
Nice.
amazing. So literally in just a few months, he's blown away. He's like, I cannot believe how I did this all by myself. And now I have, you as a consultant, kind of guiding me through what I need technology wise. We're about to implement the phone system for him,
Nice.
and just bringing now into assistants, get them trained, find the right people for the right seats, and then get them trained, and then building the standard operating procedures as we go. And now we're getting ready to fully automate on an intake level side. All of his social media has been updated. So again, all of this is mid-September, and we really started focusing middle to end of October. So we're now at February 7th. So you can just imagine the impact is pretty quick. You will notice a difference very fast. Small differences, small changes make big differences.
Yeah, that is so cool. And I'm sure one, he probably just looks so much younger, right? His face because he's actually getting sleep now.
Yes, it's important. I mean, he has two young daughters, and he's married, and you want to keep that work life balance. It's so very important because you will eventually burn out and just get exhausted. And that's my thing. I look at the overall picture of where we can tackle first. That's going to make the greatest impact. Then we go to strategy two. Then we go to strategy three for long term goal. And it works every single time with anyone I've ever done in any industry of any professional at any area. It works. It's not that hard. It's just finding that right person to make all the puzzle pieces match up because you hear people always say, well, I'm just stupid. That's technology's just not my thing. I say, no one's
Yeah.
ever stupid. It's an inexperience. It's an
Yes.
experience and it's not your cup of tea. So why would you want, you're a lawyer. Why would you want to deal with technology or finance? Why would you want to deal with finance? That's my area. That's what I love to do. I love to watch the profitability grow. Call that an addiction, call that an obsession. That's what I do. When I see that happen and I can cash forecast and project and double and triple your company, that to me is well worth everything because I know in the end, that's what matters is keeping you sustainable in the current climate that we're in right now.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you say that. Like, because so many business owners, I don't know, I don't know where this idea came from. I know I certainly subscribed to it for a while when I was getting my business started. It was like, no, I have to do everything. I have to hustle. I have to grind. I've got to learn all these different areas of my business. And there's just that feeling of shame, like I can't ask for help, right? Because then maybe I'm not a good business owner. Maybe I don't have any business, being a business owner. Um, and so I love what you said about it's not you're not stupid, you're just inexperienced. Because yeah, if you're a lawyer, that's the thing that you went to law school for. That's the thing that you wanted to develop that expertise in. You shouldn't be a TikTok expert, and you shouldn't be an expert in all these other aspects of your business. That's where you got to hire those people. But you can't hire those people unless you have the funds to do that. And you don't have the funds to do that if you're wasting more time than money to get the right people, get those right processes in place so that you can actually get to that place to do that. Yeah.
Right. And that's the number one thing that is a shock factor. My daughter's been a successful entrepreneur for 8 years, and I wanted her to focus solely on her passion of why she's doing what she's doing. And I never wanted her to lose that. And I guess that was, she was my inspiration to start Scorch. She's like, more people need you for what you've done for me and what you've done for everybody else that people don't even know. Mom, you got to get out there and do this because you can help so many people. You're so knowledgeable. And she never had to focus on, on the financial side. We brought in a part-time person. She never thought that the small changes I made a big difference. And she went from 26,000 to 107,000 in sales in less than 3 years. So it's proof, it does happen. You just got to find that right person that can see the overall picture of the
Yeah.
business and then make those changes. Just make those changes that are needed and trust the processes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I know one of the things that we had talked about a while back was how I guess you taught a lot of the kids in your neighborhood about finances and stuff. Can you just share a little bit about that briefly?
Oh, yeah. So, me being in the finance world, my children, I always gave them the good, the bad, the ugly, and whatever. Their father was disabled. Very young age, he became disabled when they were 3 and 5. So I always knew I grew up very poor in the city of Philadelphia. Born and raised in Kensington. I'm a Kensington girl. Will always hold those roots, but I learned a lot from that world. And I knew we were really poor. I knew we were really poor, and then I wanted to make sure that my kids understood how to handle life struggles, whether it was good, bad, or whatever. So I taught my daughter was able to balance, a checkbook at 13. my son, they would know if things were tough financially. They had a little board they would write their little wish list on, and we would honor it if we could.
Oh
So I
wow.
never sheltered financial struggles with them at all. And then their friends' parents, didn't share that, and the kids would come over to the house or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, mom, could you show them how to write a check? Mom, can you can you share this?" And then as these kids went into college, and then the financial aid, I was helping them with their financial aid, and I was helping them with doing credit cards and getting car loans, and it just kept escalating before I knew it. And many of them are now successful. It's just the little things that make a difference. Don't shelter your kids. And financial literacy is very important for me because kids need to
Yes.
know from the very beginning about financial understanding, and not when they're an adult, because that is that's not the time to hit them with the shock factor.
Yeah, we got taught so much about how, mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Nothing about how to balance a checkbook, nothing about how to do financing, nothing about how to do taxes like in high school. Um, that is 100% the thing that is necessary today. And God, I wish there were like a million Tinas running around back when I was in high school, because I could only imagine how much difference a lot of people's lives would be right now. We certainly wouldn't have a student loan crisis if people were just more educated, more aware of what they were getting into and signing those contracts. They might have said, "Hey, I don't actually want that," or maybe I don't want to go this traditional path. Maybe I might want to explore. Entrepreneurship, or going to a trade school or something like that. Something to give them more options, more freedom inside of how they want to earn their money, and then what they want to do with that money once they get it.
Yes, definitely. That shiny penny, the whole, we talked about this, that sales pitch terminology.
Mhm.
And that's, I think, kind of like some of my limiting beliefs I had on that word sales, is because of that look at this little card, this is what it's going to do for you, and this is, and they sell
Yeah.
it to them as this glorious thing, and then before you know it, they max out a card. They Now their credit's shot when they go to get married or buy a car, and you're like, oh my god, that happened when I was in college, and they're still dealing with the damage to their credit from their inexperience
Hmm.
of getting credit cards in college and whatnot. So that's the thing that always bothers me when I hear the story, and then I work with trying to help someone repair their credit. I don't do it as much now that the kids are old, much older. But back then, I was the driving force. If someone had a financial issue, I helped anybody that needed me.
Yeah, but I'm also sure that plays a part in businesses today, especially if they're trying to qualify for loans or get funding. A lot of those mistakes from inexperience will crop up and affect their ability to get that funding that they need.
Yes, and that's the biggest thing. See, Ali, a lot of times they won't tell you why they're denying you, but I know why they're denying you. I can look at your financial health, what's your P&Ls. I have comedy and analogies, and what do I explain? So your
Yeah.
P&L, if it's looking crazy, it's an EKG machine. Where are your KPIs? That's what I call a thermometer. So if you relate to things like that, then it's not so overwhelming, because that's not their terminology. Depends on, once you get to the corporations and stuff, then you've got that. Everybody understands that language, but they don't understand it. And when your P&L looks like an EKG machine and you've got some write-offs, it doesn't matter. You're going to get denied an extension of credit. You're going to get denied for loans, and you're going to like, I don't understand. I made, say
Yeah.
$200,000 in profit this year. Why am I being denied? That is why.
Yeah, because it's not your ability to make money; it's your ability to manage debt, I should say. Yeah.
That's correct. Manage the income and the expenses that are going in and out. And as long as you look like you are getting it together and you have that health, that's what matters. It's just like your credit score in a lot of ways. It's just like your credit score. You've got to maintain that stability and sustainability in order for a bank or an investor to look at you and go, okay, they're not as high risk, because you're checked off on a box based on your risk factor, how long you've been in business, what industry you're in, and all of that other stuff. So yeah, and a lot of business owners don't understand that either.
Yeah, that just reminded, or I just had a thought in terms of a lot of business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs are risk takers. And they might have the appetite for risk, but that doesn't mean that everybody else does, especially the banks. And so
Yeah.
I think sometimes there's a disconnect between, well, I see the dream. I know what it is that I'm going for. I know how this can work,
Yeah.
while everyone else is looking at, but these are all the ways that it can fail. And you just haven't done enough work to mitigate the risks and all the ways that the business could fail to make me want to invest in it. And I think
Right.
there's a place where business owners kind of, it takes a lot of ego and sort of confidence, almost a little delusional in some ways, especially now in this economy, in this environment, to say, like, yeah, I'm going to go out on my own, no safety net. I'm going to jump off the cliff. I'll build my plane on the way down. It takes a little something to be able to do that. And if you want to get other people on board, you have to do as much as you can to bring that level of safety, that to bring that level of confidence in terms of the risk and managing that.
Right, right. And just know it's okay to ask for help, right? I
Yeah,
think that's what happens. You get to a point that you're so far down. And what I see a lot of times is between that 2 and 6 years, right? Right when you're kind of coming out of your small, you're in your small business and you're starting, then between your 6 years where you're, trying to expand or grow or whatever you're trying to do. But there's that stability issue that's coming up. You may have had high turnover, but don't know why, or all kinds of, or you've had it, maybe had to do some cutbacks or some changes, and turnover is not healthy in itself. I mean, that's expensive
yeah,
to find someone and hire them and train them. And that's the thing people need to look at. It's okay to ask for help. That's what we're here for. We're here to help keep you sustainable and financially growing, because nothing makes me happier than to see that. And I know you can call it whatever you want to call it, but that's just what I love to do. It's just the greatest reward for me to be able to offer that to a business.
yeah. Same. I'm drinking out of my mug. It says "Be the Guide." So this was back
Oh,
from when I was a story brand certified guide with Donald Miller, and the whole thing, the whole function of that marketing and messaging piece was that you as a business owner, your business is no longer the hero of the story. Your customer is the hero, and that you want to play the guide. And so, when we were on your summit, the 5 Areas of Wealth Summit last Saturday, you talked about how I show up as like a Sherpa, like climbing up the mountain with people side by side. And so, I hear that with you as well in terms of, yeah, we're guides. We're shoulder to shoulder with people, guiding them to the next level, guiding them to the next area of growth and development inside of their business. I think so many business owners just carry around a lot of sort of internalized shame about asking for help or having to admit that, hey, I don't feel qualified in this area, or, I'm really good at going out and selling the business, but I have no idea how to manage a team or manage, the finances of it. So yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
huge that people really understand that it is okay as a business owner to ask for help. I don't care how many articles or op-eds have been written about, the billionaires that are in our economy right now. They didn't do it without help. The whole
Right,
self-made.
right. Even though on the surface it looks like they didn't, there's people behind the scenes that are
Yeah,
helping them, and that's what I always was. I was the wizard behind the curtain for so many years in my little fishbowl. Now I'm in the big ocean, swimming, swimming, swimming down the jet stream with the turtles, and it's just been a great experience to learn about a lot more businesses and help them grow and prosper and get to that area that they want to be in, because that's the value you bring to this economy right now. And anything that we can do, Ali and our Supergirl and Superman
yeah.
mentality, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Well, speaking of superheroes, right? A lot of the superheroes, they kind of get that conviction through some type of tragedy that occurred, right? With Superman, it's the death of obviously his planet, but also the death of Pa Kent. With Peter Parker, it's the death of Uncle Ben. So for you, can you share like a critical moment in your business that was like a challenge, an obstacle that you had to overcome that really cemented the clarity and the vision and the purpose that you have for your business now?
Well, yeah, I think the challenges I've had is regrowing a new network, right? My network in my fishbowl was great. Everybody knew me. I was referred here, referred there. Everybody knew me. Now I'm in a bigger network. I'm no longer in, little Burlington, North Carolina. I'm now nationwide. And some people know me globally. So it's that part of it is the network, broadening your horizons and finding the right people, right? Sometimes this may not be the right people in your same city or the same state. You do have to broaden because it's a big world out here, big old ocean, no fishbowl. And so just learning that and networking more with more folks is what I had to learn. And believe it or not, Ali, getting on camera and speaking to people, because who has the time to go to every door now and go, "Hello, I'm Tina Meeks here with Score. I can help you out." We don't have that time anymore. We don't have that time, and we don't. People don't read newspapers as much, so you can't put those little inserts we probably remember from the 80s and 90s. So now it's very important for you to get out there and get your face on camera and let people know what you do,
Yeah.
because people have to know and see you and say, "Oh wow, she is real," and then eventually you can touch me. you know, and say, "Yeah, she's real." But that's how it is. It's like if you're afraid to get on camera and you're a business owner and you're out there servicing your community, it's going to be vital to the health of your company, because people need to see you. They need to know you. They need to like you. They need to know that you can solve their problem. And if you can't get on camera, that's going to be a problem to be able to speak to people.
Yep. I can tell you right now that that piece that you said right there is going to get clipped and it's going to be shared over and over and over again. I've been trying to tell a lot of the businesses back when I was focusing on the marketing stuff with Bell Marketing Design Studio. In terms of advising clients that I had about, look, you got to get on camera. There's a lot that I can do in terms of behind the scenes and graphics and creating stuff and all that, but people need to see you. They need to hear it directly from you. They need to hear it in your words. If you're relying on Chat GPT or AI or all these other tools to sort of outsource your identity and your presence, it's just not going to be successful or sustainable in the long run.
No, and you are dead right there. It has to be, because anybody can write a beautiful paragraph about you. It's
Yeah,
you need to be able to be confident in what you do to offer that service, because if you are not confident and lack that ability to speak, even though you can master it right behind the scenes, trust me, but if you're not confident enough to implement that and make that happen for them, there's somebody else that they're going to find that's going to be able to do that same service for the same price, most likely, and they're going to go there, because that's just what it's about. It's a different world now than it
yeah,
was 10, 20 years ago. People want to visually see you.
yeah. They want to be able to connect with you. They want to be able to get a sense of who is it that I'm going to be handing my money over to? Who am I going to be handing over my business, my if you're somebody who's doing my wills, estates, and trusts or whatnot, who am I handing over those documents and relying upon to set me up in all the ways that I need to be set up, secure my future. Like, who am I really doing that business with? And if you're not able to put your ego aside to be able to say, like, I get it. People don't like public speaking. They hate the sound of their voices. They don't like the way that they look on camera. That's fine. But when it comes to really having your skill, your expertise to be out there, people need to be able to see that. Even if it's just one video of you talking and just really demonstrating the breadth and the depth of your experience and your knowledge, and that's the only time you get it. The fact that it's out there and people can come back to it, right? We live in this digital world where those things can go on in perpetuity. If you can just make that one asset, it will do so much more for your business. And it would make our jobs easier too.
Right, exactly. And trust me, I'm the poster child of not wanting to get on camera. I had 7 people on my business. I didn't hardly use Facebook, Instagram, all
Mhm.
of my stuff was locked down. So trust me, I can guarantee you
Yeah.
it's very tough to come out of that, but you have to break that, because you can do it. You can definitely do it and be seen, or or not, whatever you choose.
Yeah, I think it just comes back to that um, thing we were talking about in terms of being a guide. When you put aside your ego and you're like, who is it that I'm serving, right? What do they need? If you can get over yourself to be in service of other people, that's what's going to make your business really successful.
That's what it's about, serving others, right? You help, if you help yourself, you help strengthen your client base, you bring in more positivity throughout your employee, your team, through the community. It just ripples. And then you're taking it home to your family and you're showing all of this greatness that you are, um, just exuberating out of yourself, and you're no longer in that position you're in, and you're showing some prosperity and growth and profitability. Nothing makes someone more happier knowing that they've got somebody right there with them, shoulder to shoulder, fist to fist, right there with them, because that's what it's about.
Yeah, that's what we need. I feel like it's so many different ways. Like there's so many resources that are out there for that the government does provide for small businesses, but for you to get access to them, to even find out about them, sometimes it feels like you have to go through a labyrinth. Like you've got to answer, the riddles three in order to get access to the resources that you really need. Um, and so I love, like what we're doing here. Being able to make this more accessible to people so they can get access to other people's wisdom, the experiences and stuff that they have. And so my next question for you is, so for your business, for your company, what is the vision that you have for what you want to accomplish this year?
Yes, my vision is to grab, be able to service more companies in different industries. My focus, of course, is the licensed professionals, the property management, the attorneys, small firm attorneys,
Yeah.
real estate investors, but I do work with mid-sized to larger corporations if needed. I just continue to, whatever I can do to help, and then continue to grow my team. I definitely have, a roster of people looking forward to working with me, and I'm honored for that. People that have known me for years that would say, if you ever started a business, let me know. And
Yeah.
so, I'm calling all those people, and they're on standby. And it's just the greatest feeling to know that you made such an impact as a leader or a team lead in a company that you work for, or people that know, my daughter or whatnot. It's great feeling to know that I have people that are so ready to work with me. And I don't like to say work under me, because I don't look at the superior inferior thing. It's a team effort. I always say that it takes a village. Score E is not going to be successful just by Tina Meeks alone. It's going to take my entire team and all of the collaboration of everybody's mindset to make everything a success. So will continue to grow. I'm looking forward to going to a NARPM, which is the National Association of Real Estate Property Management Conference in Charlotte at the end of this month. And
Oh,
so I'll kind of get my heels wet a little bit in that arena. And yeah, so possibilities are endless, Ali. I look forward to continuing to work more outside of North Carolina as well.
yeah. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So I have one more question, but before we get to that, if somebody wanted to work with you, where should they go? What do they need to do? Do you have any kind of like offer for anybody that's watching this?
Yes, I have a calendar on Calendly. You should be able to find all the access to it on my website. It's score E with two E services.com. And I have two sections. One is for the mid-size to the corporations. I offer a 30-minute discovery call. And then I have for the solopreneurs, and maybe the smaller companies, we do like a 15-minute review to see what their needs are. And then we go from there. But I offer those free because my thing is to make a difference.
Yeah.
And talking to you is where you start. That's the first step to prosperity.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, as our conversation comes to a close, what is one piece of wisdom that you would like to leave our audience with for the journeys in their business?
Ooh, a lot of good wisdom. Well, you have
You
to
only get one.
only one. I would say have fun, laugh, have a sense of humor, and no matter what happens in any event or any day, find the positive in your day. Don't go to bed with a negative attitude. Find the positive, what I call the silver lining in everything. Nothing is ever a mistake. Nothing is ever I shouldn't have done that, wrong choices. Everything is a learning experience. Just take
Yeah.
whatever comes at you and say, "Wow, I've learned something new today." And end it with a positive thought in your mind and move on. That's what I say.
Yeah, that's a great piece of wisdom. I think a lot of people would um, do themselves a favor by just finding something to be grateful for, laugh about at the end of the day, because you gotta get up and do it again tomorrow.
That's right. Yes, I'm always a character. Never a dull moment around me. I always have something funny or comical, or I mean, being in the world of finance, I guess I had to develop that funny bone.
Yeah, it could be a pretty. It could either be a dry topic, or depending on the state of somebody's finances, it could be a very devastating topic. So,
True.
being able
And
to develop that sense of humor, I'm sure, is really necessary.
yeah, you want to relax them as best you can without giving them a cup of brandy or whatever. We want to relax them on a. I want to keep them well above to answer questions, and yeah, just have a sense of humor about it. It's okay.
Yeah,
It really is okay. At the end of the day, it's going to be okay. It always will be.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Tina, thank you so much for joining me today on the Wednesday Wisdom series. This is Ollie Taylor from Wisdom and Wayfinder, and I will see you next week.
Thank you, Ali. Take care, everybody.